Hello and welcome back to the MacGuffin podcast. I'm John, and I'm here with CJ Graham, who famously played Jason in Friday the 13th Part 6. Thank you for joining us, CJ.
Hey, it's my pleasure, John.
And so starting things off, I had read online that you were a nightclub owner before working on Friday the 13th Part 6. How did you make that career change from a nightclub owner to a slasher actor slash stuntman?
You know, it was just interesting. I met somebody, they needed a stuntman. I'm a big guy, 6'3", 250.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Everything just kind of fell in sequence, so I took advantage of it. Good opportunity. Didn't really know that much about the series, but it was a great opportunity to get a SAG card, Screen Actors Guild card, and I took advantage of it.
So once you got the role of Jason, did you then research the rest of the series, or you just kind of went in, I'm going to do my own thing, not going to be influenced by the other stuff?
Combination of both. I watched the series, and then Tom McLaughlin, my director, kind of gave me some guidance that he was looking for. He didn't want a zombie Jason, but he wanted a Frankenstein Jason that had some sensitivity going back to the Boris Karloff days.
Yeah, it's a very interesting take in Part 6. You get a lot more comedy than you do on the other films in the series. What was it like working on that set? Was it as much fun behind the scenes as it showed up on screen?
Oh, yeah. Those are good old days because they didn't have these cameras like we're doing right now. So there's no memory. It's all Memorex, yeah. The good thing about it was with Tom McLaughlin is the sets, there was some comedy. The Abbott and Costello, if you recall, back in the 60s, and some of the Boris Karloff comments, and American Express was a big thing back then. Never leave home without it. It's floating down the turnpike. But it was a good time. We had a good time on set, off set.
Was there ever any direction as far as Jason interacting with the comedy? Like you said, he wanted it to be more sensitive, more like a Boris Karloff Frankenstein character. But one thing that's so interesting about the movie is it's very funny, but the joke is never at Jason's expense. Was that ever something you consciously I can't yuck it up, even though this is kind of the fun Jason?
John, it was meant to be that way through the director. He wanted to make sure it just had that little sense of a twist, but it never affected Jason's stability as far as the character. The principal was Jason.
Yeah.
The comical side was just I've watched enough horror movies to know that any maniac wearing a mask is never friendly. Put it in reverse. A lot of that was done by design, but at the same time to the heart of what Jason was all about, homicidal killer.
Yeah. And one thing that Part 6 has going for it are amazing kills. We've got triple decapitation, all sorts of great stuff. What are your kind of memories of the behind-the-scenes makeup process involved in some of those kills?
I think some of the interesting part was people don't realize what goes into a kill. You're pulling Horseshack's heart out. That takes a little more than just a 1-2 and it's over. There's a point of view, POV, and there's 4 or 5 shots. There's a shot where I'm going through the window on the wall. It was a $25,000 setup.
Wow.
And I had to step down about a foot. And, of course, the director said, look, if you don't get through and you stumble, it's okay. We'll set it up, but it'd be great if you can get through it because it saves money. To go through a wall, hit blindsided, go through a door, or to be 20 feet underwater, breathing off a regulator. There were some pretty good stunts. Set on fire wasn't too bad. It was only half burned, but it was still fun.
Do you have a favorite memory from the film from behind the scenes and then also a favorite scene when you watch it now?
I think my favorite memory behind the scene was just everything, the camaraderie between the cast, the crew, the grips, the entire, transportation. I think, my stunt coordinator, Michael Nomad, keeping me alive was good. Good memory. And I think as far as the actual kills and stuff, I really enjoyed all the kills. We had some pretty good kills in there. Taking Darcy and putting her into the side of a mobile home, I think was unique. Taking the police and popping his head till his brains popped out. A lot of that ended up on the floor, the cutting floor, because of the ratings back then. Where today, if they could find that, they could have put it back in. They could re-release it, probably with the same kills, but much more graphically put together.
Was that something that disappointed you? I know with the later Friday movies, fans really want to see that gore footage, see director's cuts. Do you think the movie was really negatively affected by taking those kind of the payoffs out?
John, I think it's more just part of the times. If you go back to that era, you couldn't even see bras and underwear in a commercial. And every other commercial now is, it's an angel floating down a runway. So it's just a different time, different era, different mentality.
And once the film came out, it actually got good reviews, which was rare for a Friday film at that time. Critics appreciated the sense of humor. What was it like after it came out? Did you see your star rise? I mean, it's probably hard for people to recognize you playing Jason. You had the mask on the whole time, but were you ever recognized? Things like that. How did it affect you?
I think, the Jason 6 got a good review. It really did. And to this day, I think it stands up as one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
But as far as recognition, it's amazing how many people recognize. There's only 9 guys in the world that have played Jason, and it's a billion-dollar franchise.
Yeah.
I've been down in Tennessee just going through the airport, TSA, looking at my ID and looking at me and go, "Are you the guy that played Jason?"
Wow, they recognize the name?
3 weeks ago, I was at Universal Studios during the walk, and I went into a store, and a guy looked at me and goes, "You played Jason." But, we did the show about 3 years ago, which was 30 years of Jason. And we all did the interviews. People saw us for who we were. So now the characters have a face to go with it. I think the cool thing about it is it's a billion-dollar franchise, and if most people, if you ask them, are you familiar with Friday the 13th? They may say yay or nay, but they do know the hockey mask, they do know Jason. So take that in consideration as to saying, well, do you know Tom Cruise? Yeah. Do you know the Jason character? Yeah. You go around the world, it's apples to apples.
Yeah. So after part 6, Kane Hodder started his long career as Jason. Was there ever any talk that you would be in part 7 before it kind of went in another direction?
Actually, I was up for part 7. Kane will tell you the same thing, and Kane was fortunate enough to know the director from a movie he had done before. So he approached the director and asked if he could take the part. And from a business perspective, you work with somebody you worked with before, I get that. But yes, I was originally up for part 7. So you'll see me in the prologue of part 7, and then of course Kane takes over, and 7, 8, 9, 10 are Kane.
And another horror film you did after part 6 is you did Highway to Hell, where you played a hell cop.
Right.
This is a lesser known film. What can you tell us about how you got involved in the making of that?
Actually, it was the same thing. Kane Hodder and myself both went after it, and I got the part this time.
Oh, you won.
And it's interesting because even Ben Stiller's in it.
Wow.
He has about 5 seconds. His mother and father in it. Chad Lowe, Rob Lowe's younger brother, is in it. Christy Swanson, Buffy and the Vampire, is in it.
Yeah.
Patrick Virgin, opposite Julia Roberts, sleeping with the enemy, the husband.
Okay.
So a lot of people were in it, but unfortunately, Hemdale BK'd, bankruptcied, and the film, when it was done, it never got a national distribution. So there it laid until MGM bought it, and that was only in the last 5 or 6 or 10 years. And to this day, it's still just on VHS. When you can find it.
Yeah. And so now, what can we look for you in? Are you still acting? Did you go back to the whole nightclub thing? Where can people see you nowadays?
I'm not in the industry any longer. I still have a SAG card. For 3.5 years, I worked at the Palms with George Maloof, the Maloof family.
Okay.
Moved up to Northern California, took over a casino up in Northern California. So I've been in the casino industry for about 25 years.
Wow.
So it's my industry, is what I do. Occasionally, I'll do an event like this. This is my downtime. I just call it relaxing to come out and meet the fans.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to the fans. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the fans. So it's just my way to get back and say, hey, still here, enjoying myself. Thank you for your support, and glad to be one of the Jasons that did it.
That's great. It's awesome to see when people have that outlook. So when you're doing your casino work, do you ever advertise, this casino is owned by Jason, don't fuck with us? Does that ever come up?
No, it's not, the Jason thing it's my back pocket.
Okay.
But it is amazing how many people walk up and go, I heard you play Jason, and ask for, hey, can I get a picture for my, my niece, my nephew, or myself? So it is quite amazing how many people, 25 years later, the series continues, John.
Yep.
And the legacy continues.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite series of all time here on the podcast. And is there any website where people can keep up with you, or a Facebook page, anything like that? Are you online?
Yeah, actually, I do have a website. It's www, and it's jasonvoorheesstore.com, or it's jason6.com. You can just Google my name, CJ Graham, Graham. It'll pop up, and I have all my different photographs and autographed black and whites and colors that I can send to you. And sometimes it's hard for the fans to get to the conventions. Today, we're in Seattle. Next week there's another show in Baltimore. Well, it's not easy for me to jump over to Baltimore. I'll be working Monday back in California. Yeah. So the opportunity to use the website is another way for them to get me in to do a show, or to host a show, or just to get an autographed picture mailed to their home.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to your live Friday the 13th Part 6 commentary that's coming up tonight at Crypticon.
One of my kills? Just wanted to show that, John. And
Oh,
I know
okay.
they don't get on the pod, but if you can get that on there, they're going to look at it because you were shocked. Look at even the director's going, holy shit.
Yep. No, it's
Good
great.
job,
The first time I've been killed on camera. Yeah. Thank
All
you
right,
so
man.
much. It was
My
great
pleasure.
to meet you.
All right.
T-1000 can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Magneto can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Even Zod can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. It's tight. Don't even try to bite the side of style. Mr. Spock can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. The Wrath of Khan can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. The Borg can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Because I've got space game and it feels alright.